Today on the podcast, we're going to look at some of the interesting things that we have to look forward to in January of 2026. Because currently making today's recording in December of 2025, and if you listened to the podcast yesterday, then you are not surprised because I mentioned that my partners and I are coming up with a series of sales trainings beginning on the 12th of January, going to last all the way until the 23rd of January 2026. Now it's going to be a 10-day intensive, so the weekends will be off. So Monday all the way to Friday, and then the week after that, Monday to Friday, where we're going to focus on improving our sales ability over the phone. The reason why we're going to do that is because there are lots of people who believe that selling cannot be done over the phone. And so because of that, they're losing out on good opportunities, or they're losing on opportunities that are readily available for how you can use the phone to find your ideal customer, to build relationships with your ideal customer, to try and close deals over the phone. So in January of 2026, we're going to focus on a couple of things. Some of the topics that we're going to look at, some of the modules that we're going to look at include examining the Nigerian landscape, looking at Nigerian business culture, and how it affects selling, or whether it can affect selling. Because there are too many of us who have some mental hang-ups. I can hear this thing all the time, that Nigerians are price sensitive. Is that true? Is there a unique thing such as Nigerians are price sensitive? What about Indians? What about Ghanaians? What about Americans? What about people in the UK? Is there a society where people are not price sensitive? So why do we keep running all over the place saying that Nigerians are price sensitive? And so because of that, we can't sell luxury items over here. So we're going to explore some of this head trash in January of 2026. Because if we don't get this out of the way, we are not going to be able to sell effectively over the phone or sell effectively in person if we believe that there are some peculiar things about Nigeria that make it difficult to sell or to grow your business. My name is Tavershima Ayede. I'm the host of the podcast. I am a former lawyer turned business consultant. If you'd like to connect with me, you can call, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. And then also, if you find all the things we're talking about so far to be interesting, then subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of your choice. Because even though currently I'm talking about my paid training program, which comes up on the 12th of January 2026, you will find that in the 5.5 years that this podcast has been running, and in the over 1,300 episodes, and for those people who are subscribed, they can attest to what it is that I'm about to say, because we have over 3,800 subscribers on Spotify alone. I don't charge any money for what it is that I do over here. So if you subscribe, trust me, you're going to be getting premium value every other week. So if I've been a part of your sales development journey, your business development journey, your personal development journey in 2025, I'm looking forward to continuing that relationship. I want to keep on being a part of that journey. If you're new to the podcast, if this is your first time of discovering the podcast, please subscribe. You will not be disappointed. And I can assure you, I am going to become part of your personal development journey, part of your sales journey, part of your business growth, business development journey, because I provide value here for free. And it's because I've been providing value for free over 5.5 years. That's the reason why I can confidently come before you all today to say, my partners and I, we're coming up with this paid program. This is what we're going to do. If you're interested, this is how you can take part. So, I've spoken about one of the modules that we're going to be looking at in January of 2026, and that is looking at the Nigerian landscape, Nigerian culture, Nigerian business culture. Can it affect selling? How does it affect selling? Oh, by the way, apologies. I'm recording today's episode at home. I'm currently on holidays in the villa, and family is around, so expect to hear some noise in the background. So, where was I? Okay, yes. So, I've already looked at one of the modules, which is Nigerian culture, Nigerian business landscape. So, we're going to look at how the Nigerian landscape, Nigerian business culture affects how you sell B2B. B2B is business to business. So if you're a business person selling to other business people, that is B2B. So the listener of the podcast who reached out, I think last month, who was in the family business of selling tires to fleets, but they sell heavy duty tires. So they sell, tires for tractor heads, for diggers, for tippers, those sorts of things, and they sell the tires to maybe, one of these big construction companies here in Abuja or Lagos. So that is business to business. We're also going to see how the Nigerian business landscape, the Nigerian business culture affects you if you're an SME, that if you're a small and medium scale enterprise. If you're just on the come up, if you're just starting out, how are you going to sell? We're also going to look at how to sell, excuse me, with our unique Nigerian issues. Hyperinflation. We can't deny that we're in the area of hyperinflation. You know what it is. And those of us who are family men, we know how much we used to buy meat before. And then you enter into the market. You want to buy 1 kilo. They say 1 kilo is 7.5, 1 kilo is 8K. That's just meat alone. You haven't bought anything else again. You didn't buy chicken. Just meat, 1 kilo. If you buy 3 kilos, that's how much? You don't enter like 25K already on top meat only. So, how do we sell when we have hyperinflation going on? How do we sell when there is price sensitivity going on? How do we sell? These are some of the things that we're going to look at in the modules in 2026. Sorry, excuse me. We're also going to explore how to build trust over the phone, how to build business relationships using the phone, because it is absolutely essential. Another module we're going to look at is lead management. A lead is anybody who has done something visible, something objective, something that you can point to that gives you a sign that they might be interested in your product or in your service. I was chatting with someone recently and he was talking about how he gets leads and he says that, oh, yesterday I got 5 leads. I said, what do you mean when you got 5 leads? And then he says he went around and he spoke to a couple of people and it looked like they were interested. He collected their phone number. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that is not a lead. That is a contact. When you're walking around talking to people, that activity is called prospecting because you're looking for who might be interested in your product or your service. All of us gas to be prospecting, whether online or offline. We should be running around looking for market, looking for our potential customer. In the process of prospecting, you will find some people and you collect their contact details. That at that level, that person is just a contact. Don't think you have a lead there or don't think you have a deal. Person is just a contact. When your contacts do something that show that they might be interested, okay, now you have a lead. So, for the person I was talking to yesterday, who is in the fashion space, you're going around, you're talking to people at the mall, you collect a few phone numbers, or you give out a few flyers. That's just contact. If the person happens to check your Instagram and slide into your DM, that's different. Now you have a lead because the person has done something that is objective, that is visible, that is clear to see, that gives us a sign that that person might be interested in your product or service. Maybe they want to buy jogger from you. Maybe they want to buy blazer or hoodie from you. It doesn't mean it's a done deal, but now this is a lead because the person has done something that we can point at to say this person might be interested. So in lead management in 2026, we're going to look at speed to lead. How can we follow up with these people sharp, and convert on the opportunity? When we say convert, we just mean get the person to take action. How do we follow up sharply before a lead can expire? Some of you don't know, but leads expire. That's happened to me plenty. Started off as a lawyer. Eventually, I was in the event wedding space. It has happened to me lots of times. You get in touch with someone, you guys talk, it's a good conversation, but you think, man, I no crowd them. Let me not seem too desperate. You just leave it. Then you call the person back in 4 weeks, and they've ended up going with somebody else. Sorry, one moment. Okay, Sorry about that. So, like I said, I'm in the villa, and then some of the kids, my kids and their cousins, were running all over the place, so I had to move environment. So, where was I? Okay, so I was talking about how leads can expire because some of you don't know that leads can expire, and it has happened to me several times. You talk to someone, you don't want to crowd them, you don't want to see desperate. You talk today, January 1st, you say, let me give them space. You call them back January 15th, and then they say, oh, sorry, we went with someone else. The lead expired. Someone was interested in your product or service. They did something to show that they're interested in your product or service, but you didn't have the skills, you didn't have the framework, you didn't have the know-how to be able to get them to convert, to be able to get them to take the next step. And because of that, the lead expired. They moved on. We're going to look at lead management techniques, focusing especially on speed to lead. How do we make sure that when we've got somebody on the phone and it looks like we have a lead, how can we make sure that we move this thing along and we don't lose that deal? Sorry, one moment, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Really sorry about that. But these are some of the difficulties that we face. For those of us who like to produce content on the go. And of course, when you're in the village now, where are you going to hide? Everywhere you look, there's an uncle. Everywhere you look, there's an auntie. Everywhere you look, there's a cousin. But anyway, this time was my wife who who needed my attention. So anyway, more than vex, I beg. Until the Christmas season is over, this is how the podcast recordings are just going to be. I record, sharp, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Somebody will come and interrupt, another person will interrupt, that kind of thing. But it's not going to stop me from delivering value to you guys. And before I ran off to go and answer my wife, I believe we were talking about lead management, speed to lead. And so those are some of the things that we're going to be looking forward to in January of 2026. The course that's going to begin on January 12th and continue until the 23rd of January. We're going to learn how to do this uniquely over the phone because there are too many of you who don't know how to do this. Somebody's interested, you guys have one conversation, looks like everything is going okay. The person will now say, all right, I'll be in touch. And then your wife will now ask you, your babe will now ask you, how did the conversation go? You say, I think it went well. The guy said he'll be in touch. And then she's like, hey, thank God, though. Because maybe like 3M, 4M is on the line. You now call the guy back. The guy says, oh, we decided to go in a different direction. Those phone calls are painful. Very, very painful. I know this is firsthand. Because I have this bad habit. My mom has been telling me that don't count your chickens until they hatch. Sorry, one moment. Okay, terribly sorry about that. It's a good thing I told you guys ahead of time. Anyway, this time was my momsy who needed my attention, so I've settled her. Now, speaking of momsy, so she's always in the habit of telling me, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Because me, I'm the kind of guy that, I'm talking to somebody and it's looking like there's good money, like around that kind of 3M, 5M, 6M, in my mind, I already start thinking, oh, okay, school fees. Should I call principal? Let's see whether we can negotiate. Let me pay something in advance. Okay, this thing that I'm supposed to do, let me set aside and do this one, do this one. Before the money hit my account, I've already apportioned everything in my mind about where this money is going to go. So, for people like me who have that bad habit of counting our chicken before we hatch, when you receive that kind of disappointment and they say we decide to go with somebody else, there's a way that the thing will just crush you. Emotional damage, crushing defeat. That happens when you don't have good knowledge, good practice, good principles, good systems, good habits for lead management. And that is why we'll be focusing on speed to lead come the 12th of January to the 23rd of January 2026. Part of the things we're going to look at in the modules that we're going to discuss, we're also going to look at qualification and discovery and data discipline. For those of you who are hearing these terms for the very first time, don't worry, they sound big, but what they mean is very small, very, very simple, very, very practical, very, very useful. Qualification just means the part where we're trying to have a business conversation with somebody. and we're trying to learn about that person and what they need. That's all. That's what qualification is. We will have to learn how to do that over the phone. Because sometimes if you wait until you see somebody face to face, time go on fly. And in the middle of that time, things can happen. They can be meeting other vendors, they can be meeting other people. The guy's wife might say, stop talking to this guy. I know so and so. My cousin also sells tire. And before you know it, you're out of the picture. So we have to learn how to be able to do qualification over the phone. How can we learn about this person? How can we learn about their personal situation, their business situation, and what they're trying to achieve? Discovery is when we are in the business context, the business relationship, the business situation, and we're engaging in conversation so that we can dig deeper into the problem. What kind of problem are they facing? Is it a significant enough problem? Is it a significant enough vision that they are willing to spend money on? Because sometimes some people have a problem, but it's not that big a problem. Those of us who have had some small plumbing issues, maybe in the children's bathroom, maybe the sink is leaking, but it's just doing prop, prop, prop. And you know that if you call the plumber will say, we should change this thing, we should change this thing, we should change this thing. Before you know it, because of small leak, prop, prop, you don't spend like 50K. So, let me know form, because I know you guys do it too. When it's just a drop, prop, prop, what do? You just carry a bucket and you put there. You say, no problem. I'll deal with it later. So there's a problem. It's a leaky faucet. But it's not a problem that is worth solving now. And please don't form as if you don't do it. It's not just me. I know you do it too. Even if it's not plumbing, you do it in some other area. So when having conversations with a potential customer, we need to be able to know whether it's a serious problem or not. Because if it's the kind of thing that even though it's a problem, the person doesn't think it's a big problem, then why are you wasting your time following up on the person? So if as a plumber, you figure out that they're okay with just putting bucket there, then why are you wasting your time calling the person again? Yes, there's good money to be had. At the end of the day, it could be a 30, 50,000 naira deal. But right now, the guy is happy with using bucket. So that is qualification. That is discovery. Now, data discipline. Data discipline is when we are talking with people at the qualification and discovery stage, we will learn one or two things about them, who they are, what the problem is, what the vision is, how we might be able to help. We need a way to store that information because it could come in handy later. So as a plumber now, the guy is happy with using bucket. Prop, prop, prop. As a plumber, you know that by the time they do that for another 3 weeks, the thing will now start doing prop, 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 prop. So you know that as a plumber, the time to call back is in 3 weeks when that thing has started leaking seriously. Excuse me. So what are you going to do in the meantime? You need to be able to store that information somewhere. You need to be able to schedule a reminder somewhere to remind you, to ping you, to call this person back in 3 weeks to see how far about this problem. You need to store the guy's name somewhere, the family's address somewhere, the nature of the problem somewhere. You need to store, I'm sure you'd have made a mental note of the things that need to be replaced. You need to buy tap, you need to buy elbow joint, you need to buy this, you need to buy that. You need to put all that information down somewhere. That is what we call data hygiene. That is what we call data discipline. And that place where you're going to keep it is what we call the CRM, a customer relationship management tool. Some of you say, what's the connection with all these things? It's very simple. Qualification plus discovery plus data discipline, data hygiene, data management means we will not waste time on people who will never buy. If you do good qualification, good discovery, and you get good data, you can sit down later on a dispassionate day when there's no stress, and you can now reason it. You now reason them that, okay, based on this, I don't think this is a deal that can work. Let me just hash this thing. That's the whole point of qualification, discovery, and data discipline, data hygiene, so that you don't waste time on people that will never buy, deals that will never close. Of course, the opposite end is now good qualification, good discovery, good data discipline, good data hygiene means that you will never lose sight and you always follow up well and on time on deals that have a good chance of closing. You can see, if you never heard all these terms before, you can see now how it is possible to close deals over the phone because you know what to do. You have the framework. You know the principles. You know the next steps that you're supposed to be doing. These are the things that we're going to be talking about on the 12th of January to the 23rd of January 2026. This one not be motivational something. I'm not a motivational guy. I'm not going to go there and tell you to aspire to refire so that you can acquire what you desire and aim higher. I'm not going to tell you all that crap. No. We're going to talk about very concrete things, very practical things, because that's what I'm about. I want you to finish that training on the 23rd of December, and then Monday morning on the 25th, 8 o'clock sharp, you know what it is that you're supposed to do next to move your business forward. It's no motivation with me, so get ready. If anything, I'll demotivate you. Some of you, your eye is too high. Your emotions are too high. We need to bring it down to the ground and be practical here. Let's show walking. Let's move. Then another module we're going to be looking at is vocal presence and vocal delivery. You got to be able to carry yourself well on the phone. When you answer the phone, you understand what I'm saying? You need to sound like a reasonable somebody, like a capable somebody on the phone, so that people listen to you and take you seriously. We're going to work on vocal presence. We're going to work on delivery. We're going to show you how you can convey authority over the phone, competence over the phone. Competence just means when people see you, when they hear you, you sound like you know what you're saying. You sound like you can do what you're saying you would do. That feeling you're getting right now, listening to me on this podcast, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Because clearly, for those of you who have been listening for any length of time, even if you've only listened to 10 episodes so far, you already know that what I'm saying I will do for you, you know that I can do. Let's work on how we can get you to the stage where you can do that for your own business. Vocal presence and delivery, very important. Important to selling on the phone. You want to collect good money from somebody, you're talking to an odogu, but every time you pick up the phone, you sound like a church mouse. And you're wondering why deals are not closing. Doesn't matter whether you're a young guy or a young girl. You don't sound correct. What do you expect? Vocal presence and delivery. We're also going to talk about how to build rapport. Rapport just means, emotional connects. I like you, you like me. I'm a reasonable somebody, you're a reasonable somebody. We are vibing together. How do you build rapport over the phone? Some of you are too nervous. Too nervous. I work with someone who is like he was always on a hurry to get off the phone. I have to tell him, Shegun, that's not his real name, by the way. Like, Shegun, relax. Where are you running to? I say, she's a madam now. She has something important to do. Like, did she tell you that? Yeah, she's a madam. She's a busy executive. So if you are talking BS, she will check you. She will tell you. But this conversation that you had barely lasted 1 minute, 45 seconds. This is what we were supposed to achieve on the call. Did we achieve it? No. You say she's a busy person. Did she tell you to get off the phone? No. How did you know that your time was up? Did you even establish any rapport? If you didn't establish rapport now, why do you think madam is going to pick up your phone call the next time that you call? All these things, very, very important. Part of what we'll be talking about from the 12th of January to the 23rd of January, 2026. The modules will also include value selling. Value selling just means, when you're talking to people, We need to remove their mind from price. If you remain on this price level, it will be hard. We have to learn how to sell value because too many of you sell on price. Hello, how far? Are you available? Yes, I'm available. How much do you cost? I cost 2.5 million. Yeah, 2.5 million. Chukudi says he can do it for 1.8. And you will not start pricing. You now agree on 1.7. Stop selling on price. Learn how to sell on value. Avoid feature selling. Feature selling is when you talk about the characteristics of your product or your service. It's a Niger thing. That's how we sell here in Niger. We say, bro, come and buy this phone. Samsung V Fold, latest in the market. This model, they supposed to release am January 2026. But my guy is on the inside, so I was able to get it. Come and see it. AMOLED screen. No crack. 250 megapixel. The 2 megabyte RAM. I'll be 2 gigabyte RAM. This. Cloud storage. Something. Come and see stylus. Latest stylus in town. Something. The one that Genevieve Naji was using in that film. Come and see this one. Feature selling. That's what we do in Nigeria. How do we get around feature selling? Because, there's a time for feature selling. But if you focus on features all the time, it's not going to help you to move your market over the long haul. So that is one of the things we're going to explore from the 12th of January to the 23rd of January, 2026. How do we sell value? How do we stop talking about price all the time and stop talking about features all the time? Because if you keep on focusing on features and price, so you're saying Samsung V Fold, all these features, and then the cost is 3.5, and then another person comes along and the person says Xiaomi has released this phone, the exact same features, but the own is 1.5. What do you think is going to happen? They will say, all the exact same features in the Samsung, all of them are in the Xiaomi. Then the Samsung is 3.5. The Xiaomi is 1.5. Instead of buying one Samsung at 3.5 million, they will say, give me this Xiaomi, give me two, one for me and one for wifey. And then they will transfer 3 million to the other guy. That is what happens when you're stuck on selling on features and selling on price. How do we get around that? Especially when we're trying to sell over the phone, because you won't always be face to face with these people when you're having these conversations. We're also going to look at objection handling. Objection just means any reason that somebody gives for not wanting to go ahead with this particular transaction, this particular conversation, this particular agenda. If they say, let me discuss with my wife, that's an objection. Why are you so expensive? Chukudi can do it for me, 20% off. That's an objection. Let me get back to you. That's an objection. Let me pray about it. That's an objection. I need time to think about it. That's an objection. Send me an email later. Let's discuss. That's an objection. Come over to the office. Drop a proposal with my secretary. That is an objection. How do we deal with these objections? And then how do we secure the commitment? Secure the commitment just means you're trying to get the person to move forward. If I'm dropping a proposal, my next step is I want them to, let's have a meeting so that we'll sit down and say, okay, Oga, you don't see the proposal now. So how far? Which part did you like? Which part didn't you like? What are the questions that you have? So that we can move these things forward. We need to learn how to secure the commitment. These are the many things that we're going to be looking at in this course that is going to start on the 12th of January all the way to the 23rd of January, 2026. Here's the good news. I am not the only sales consultant in town. Other people are doing other trainings as well. In fact, one of the big names in Lagos, the guy's on, he's doing it for 120,000 naira. But here's the thing. That guy's course is pre-recorded. I'm not bad-mouthing him. I'm just saying it as it is. It's pre-recorded. He'll send you a bunch of videos and you'll watch at your own pace. After that, they'll give you a nice certificate. And then you'll be on your way. I'm putting together, my partners and we're putting together all this value. And you're not going to pay up to 100,000 naira. You won't. Apart from that, I'm physically present with you. It's not a video. If you don't believe, at any single point, you can say, "Excuse me, sir, I want to ask a question." And I'll address you. I'll say, "Yeah, what's your question?" Because this will not be a video. We're going to have tutorial sessions afterwards because I want to make sure that you guys are following and that you're understanding. And we'll start discussing concrete examples. If you're in the family business of selling tire to construction firms in Enugu or in Owerri or in Aba or in Abuja, I want to be sure that these things that we have discussed now, objection handling, the last time you tried to secure a contract, what objection did you face? What principles apply? How are we going to move forward? That is the whole point of the tutorial session. You will not pay up to 100,000 naira. You will have my undivided attention. That's the good news. Now, some people have been kind enough to give me some reviews, and I notice that it's only babes that give me a review. I say, this is the reason why, I love babes. I love women. No, not like that. I'm a child of God. In fact, they call me Jesus' cousin. When you see Jesus, you see me. Me and Jesus were 5 and 6, so not like that. But the thing is, women are dependable. There are lots of guys that say, "Oh boy, how far? My course is dropping. I beg, give me a review." And they say, no problem now. You be our guy. You be our guy. At the end of the day, how many of them drop review? Zero. Nothing. All the people that drop reviews, they happen to be women. And that's why I love women. You people are dependable. You stick to your word. Yes is yes and no is no. So first off, Mmesoma Agochuku from Port Harcourt. She found my podcast, this current podcast you're listening to, on Spotify because she was looking for some materials on audio learning. By the way, that's the way forward. Audio learning. As you're driving to work, the thing is playing in the background. You are learning. As you're in the downfall, please, by the way, if you're on the downfall, don't put your phone in your pocket. Put your phone in the bag, then carry your bag, and then put it on your lap, and then clutch that bag because things are happening. One sales guy that I trained in Lagos, that's how they migrated the guy's phone and his wallet. Yeah? People are hustling. Just like you're hustling, people are also hustling. So please, don't leave your phone in your pocket, I beg. Remove your phone, remove your wallet before you enter the bus. Put it in your bag, then sit down in the bus. Then clutch your bag well. The only thing that is outside will be the earphone that is on your head. So, where was I? So, Mmesoma Agochuku in Port Harcourt found the podcast on Spotify because she's interested in audio learning. The thing that she liked about me and my delivery was my gisting style because I'm just gisting. That's a throwback to my lawyer days. Because, as a lawyer, you're dealing with some very, very heady concepts. So when you tell the client that, look, we need to execute this, that, they'll be looking at you, they say, they don't understand. So you need to find ways of breaking things down. So I've always tried to break things down in an easy gist format. Because when we talk to the client, I want the client to understand that when I say we need to execute Anton-Pillar order, I don't want her to go home and then tell her husband, lawyer say make we execute Anton-Pillar order. Then the husband will say, which one is Anton-Pillar? She'll say, I don't know. Who is Anton-Pillar? I don't understand. I need to be able to break it down. So it's the same thing over here on the podcast. That's the reason why I gist. It's because it's not because I don't have anything else better to do with my time. I'm trying to keep this conversational. I'm trying to keep this thing relatable. Because I want it to be easy to understand. If it's easy to understand, it'll be easy to do. And that's what Mmesoma Agochuku liked about the podcast, and she likes about my approach. Because with a gist, and I'm keeping it easy, make it easy to understand. She said if it were possible, she would give me 6-star rating. Unfortunately, Spotify only collects 5 stars. So Mmesoma, she dashed me 5 stars. And if you're listening to this podcast now, this is your first time you've gotten value from this. Come on, help a brother out. When you're done with this thing, give a brother 5 stars straight. Then there's also Uboho Othman. She's based in Lagos. And she says that my approach to instruction is practical and straightforward. And yes, that is what I aim to do. I want it to be practical. That is the reason why you will never hear me say aspire to require and afire and refire and aim higher to acquire what you desire and perspire so you can fire and refire. That's why I will never say any of that crap. Because when you say those things, people feel good. They feel very, very good. Then they leave your training and they know that they're supposed to perspire and acquire to refire. But then they don't know, where to pull the trigger or how to pull the trigger. Okay, I'm supposed to fire. Where should I fire? Up or down? Left or right? What am I aiming at? People don't know. That's why I don't say all that crap. But motivation is important, though. It's important. You have to wake up and motivate yourself. You get it, you know? But I know you get your motivation from other avenues. So when you're with me, straightforward, practical, just like Uboho Othman said. The examples we're going to use will be relatable. She said that's one thing she likes about my instruction, that I use relatable examples. That is deliberate. And that is why we're going to have tutorial sessions during this training on the 12th to the 23rd. Because the examples that we use will come from you people. If there are 40 of you in that class, we're going to break it down into tutorial groups of 888. When we are breaking down those principles, the examples will come from you and from your classmates so that you will see as other people are applying it. So that by the time this whole thing is over, you have examples from your business, examples from other people's business who are on the same call with you, and you know how to move it forward. Thank you very much, Boho Uthman, for this review. You say practical instruction, relatable examples. That's exactly what I try to do. And Uboho, don't worry, I won't betray your trust. I'll keep on doing it that way. She also said that she likes my instruction because I give clear next steps. That's my focus. I don't want you to leave my session feeling like you can aspire to refire, to acquire what you desire. But then tomorrow morning, you don't know the next clear step. I want everybody tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., to know the next thing they're supposed to do. I'm supposed to call this person, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. There will be next clear steps. Thank you very much, Uboho Uthman, for this review. She also says that the content that I give is solid and practical and useful. Thank you very much, Uboho Uthman, for that wonderful review. I really appreciate it. Don't worry, I will not betray your trust. All those things that you've said that you got from me, I will make sure that I deliver to other people. Then there was also Ogene Tejiro O, based in Lagos. Ogene Tejiro. I like all your names from that side. Very correct names. So for Ogene Tejiro, or Capable Tej, as they used to call her, we met through the Fate Foundation. The Fate Foundation is an NGO based in Lagos, Nigerian. They're interested in entrepreneurial development. So because of that, they organize programs every single year, and I'm part of their registered mentees. Now, there's one program that they do in collaboration with the OCIF. OCIF is the Orange Corners Innovation Fund or something like that. And the OCIF, I think they come out of Denmark or something, from the royal family in Denmark or Norway or something. Sorry, forgive me if you're from that part of the world. Forgive me, I beg. No vex. It's just that, Nigerians, especially Nigerians like me, whenever I travel, we just hear some names and we're like, well, you're all the same. So if I hear Norway, I hear Denmark, I hear Sweden, in my mind, all of them people are the same. Like, same difference. Eh? If I hear Pakistan, if I hear India, if I hear, no vex, I beg, but in my mind, it's like, you all sound the same. And it's the same thing. Like, there's one guy who's based in China, not far from Guangzhou, and we're talking, and, he was saying, oh, no, they're different. And I'm like, my mind's like, bro, sorry, no vex, because in my mind, it's all the same. So, sorry, I'm not trying to be racist, but where was I? Anyway, so part of Faith Foundation, their collaboration with the OCIF, Orange Corners Innovation Fund. Now, Ogene Tejiro, she said that my insights were practical. In fact, she even said transformational. When she said that, that thing was sweet in my brain. Really, really sweet in my brain. And she also mentioned again about actionable steps. And yes, during that program, anybody that I work with from Faith Foundation or the University of Aberdeen, because I also do free mentoring for people who went to the University of Aberdeen. That's my alma mater. I always want to make sure that these young bloods, that, they have the next clear steps. Because I don't want people to feel all hyped up, but then they don't know what to do. Luckily, for me, Ogenetejiro is an executor. She's an executor. Kai. She's the kind of person that you say, this is what we're supposed to do for this week. You give her the assignment. By Wednesday, she's calling to give you update. I said, our week never finished. She's the one that was now putting me on my toes. Because I'll say, okay, the plan for Monday to Friday is this. Wednesday, she's calling me to say, this is what I've done. I'm the one who now had to keep up. See, that's the best way that you're going to get value out of any of these things. Whether you come for this training, the 12th of January to the 23rd of January 2026, or whether you apply to Faith Foundation, or whether you apply to OCIF, or whether you apply to Tony Elumelu Foundation, or any foundation, that is the only way you're going to get value out of all these things. Apply. If they say this is a 14-day something from this day to this day, apply. You don't have to wait until day 14 before you turn in your assignment. If they give you 14 days to do something, but you're done in 8, you're done in 10, is it bad? Finish and then go and meet your mentor. Finish and go and meet your teacher, and then you start working on the next thing. So it came as no surprise at the end of the day when she ended up winning the prize. Let me not say how many euros that she won. So that people won't go and start looking for her online to go and collect money from her. Came as no surprise. Anyway, she said one benefit of working with me was that I helped her confidence, and the things that I recommended help her achieve growth in her business. And that is what I want to do. Ogene Tejiro, thank you very much for this review. I will not let you down. I will make sure that other people who come across my path in this training or this podcast or any which way, I'll make sure that the same feelings, the same results that you got, that other people will get as well. Then finally, Faith Odu. Let me stop here. Based in Ibadan. She said she was feeling lost in her business until she found my podcast on Spotify, and she said it's the best decision that she has ever made. That was reaching out to me because I give my phone number at the beginning and at the end of every episode. And yes, if you do call, send a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. You will be talking directly with me. It's me. I'm not a bot. It's not a PA. Now, when I become a big boy, when I'm on that Tony Elumelu level, yes, now my PA will be answering the phone. But for now, take advantage of it. It is me. So she said reaching out was the best thing that she did. She said I helped her get a strategic mindset. And I helped her with direction. And I helped her find renewed purpose. And I'm glad to hear that. I'm not a Tinubu guy, by the way. Just in case you hear renewed purpose and you say, is this guy aligned with Tinubu? No, I'm not. But if you have Tinubu's phone number and introduce him to me, I wouldn't mind. There's a couple of things I'd like to work with the guy on. So anyway, that's it. I've kept you guys here for 45 minutes. Let me just bring it to a close. Basically, I just wanted you guys to know that this is what we're going to be discussing. These are the things that we're going to cover in this paid course that will run from the 12th of January to the 23rd of January 2026. It is going to be a paid course, and like I said, you're not going to spend up to 100,000 naira, and you're going to get more value from the other people who are collecting 120k from you and more, because there's the other people who charge more. So, let me give you one warning. If you're going to call, don't come and start trying to haggle or price me down. Don't. It's not going to happen. The price is the price. It's not going to be more than 100,000 naira, but the price is the price. And let me tell you something. One of the things I'm supposed to teach you is how to overcome price objections, is what to do when people say you're too expensive. Now listen to me loud and clear. If I'm promising to teach you how to deal with price objections, but then you call me and the moment you say, give me discount, do this, and I give you discount, will that inspire you with confidence that I can teach you to overcome price objections? I'm teaching you how to stop dealing with this price BS. So Don't even bother asking me for the discount. Call in. Let's talk. 080-6466-2140. I won't force you. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. No problem. Keep listening to the podcast. The podcast is free. The other people who charge for their podcast, in fact, I wonder how they do it. How do you charge for a podcast? So there's some people who charge for the podcast. My podcast has always been free. It will always be free. So you can't afford the training. It's not a problem. Stay here. You still get value. And so that's it. Thank you very much for listening. I'll catch you some other time.